Hey there, Bible buddies. I've got another Bible review for you today, and this is kind of a special edition Thomas Nelson. This particular one is an RSV edition, and this is the second edition of the RSV. I'm not super well versed in what the changes were, so that might be something if you're interested in learning about, you'd have to go and look up online, but certainly I can give you a review of this RSV edition. Now, if you notice, this is a neat color. It's not black, it's not red like what we've been seeing lately. It's kind of a navy blue. And there's a reason for that. Again, this is a special edition Holy Bible, so we'll get into it, and it should be fairly obvious why and who this special edition was produced for once we get into it. But we'll go ahead and take a look. Let's start with the grain of the cover. It's a very nice grain. Look at that. Just very grainy. Very, very grainy. It's just a genuine leather there. Again, it's a navy blue. You can see the kind of very fine perimeter line around the edge there, and the Holy Bible imprinted on the front, centered with upper and lowercase letters. You usually don't see that, so it's kind of an interesting presentation of it. On the spine there, we can see it says Holy Bible, Revised Standard Version, 2nd edition. And then you have the Nelson logo with the little NB with the cross there also. There are some burnished spine ribs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, kind of spine rib indications there. They're not really popping up. It's just the normal stuff we've been seeing lately. On the back, you can see that grain continues, the perimeter line continues, and we also have genuine leather stamped on the back of it there in the bottom corner. As far as the head and tail bands go, it's like a navy blue and gold color head and tail band. A nice gold gilt. This one is an excellent example. I mean, there's like no dings or scratches anywhere in the gilt, which is awesome. Maybe a little one there, but that's about it. As far as the ribbon goes, this feels like a silk ribbon. So it's just a very smooth kind of navy blue ribbon there. Very nice ribbon, high quality ribbon. Excellent job. Let's go ahead and get into it. We'll take a look at the corner work. Not that there's much. It is a synthetic paste down liner, so nothing crazy there, but it does match with that navy blue. And we'll go ahead and open to the first page, and it gives it away right there on the very first page. So if you guys can guess, this is I guess a graduation Bible, an award Bible to be given away at a graduation, specifically for Duke University, which I think is neat. I would imagine they are not giving these out anymore. I don't know if this would be the kind of thing that was maybe at some point, or maybe still is sold in the gift shop. I guess if anybody works for Thomas Nelson and they can chime in, I doubt this specific edition would still be getting given away. Maybe they have an updated version, but I kind of even doubt that. But it's interesting to see that, right? So you have your date that you would graduate, and then a little line for the graduating person there. But interesting nonetheless, right? You can see the little stamp for Duke. And we'll go ahead and flip on the back. There's nothing, and then the rest of the Bible is really just a standard presentation. There's not like Duke specific study notes or anything like that. Or like Duke maps or anything. It's just kind of that initial kind of presentation page there that sets it apart. As far as the rest of it goes, we have Holy Bible and then yet another presentation page. They probably could have done away with this, but I would imagine they were just reusing the same text blocks from what they had before. Then you have your wife's family tree, your husband's family tree, a marriages page, a births page, and a deaths page at the end. Then you have your title page, the Holy Bible, the Old and New Testaments, and the Revised Standard Version, the 2nd edition. So I have to check and see if I have another 2nd edition. I don't want to get rid of this one. I'd love to be able to read both editions of the RSV at some point. I keep saying that with like every edition of the Bible that I have. At some point. Maybe God will bless me with a long enough life to be able to read all of them, yeah? Then we have a little copyright information there on the reverse side of the title page. You guys can pause that as you need to. It looks like maybe 1971 is when the copyright was. I don't know if that's when this was printed, but that's when I guess the 2nd edition came out is 1971. So we have a preface to the RSV. A lot of this is probably going to seem pretty similar to the last RSV edition we read or looked at recently. Then you have an abbreviations page and a books of the Old and New Testament listed alphabetically, and then the normal table of contents with also the number of chapters. I think that's interesting. I don't know that I've seen that too often. We have our pronunciation key and our subject index right at the beginning. That's neat. I like that it lists it kind of at the beginning, right? Instead of having to flip to the back. It's kind of like a different way of looking at a kind of table of contents. We have the first book of Moses, commonly called Genesis. Now this layout does depart just a little bit from what we've seen. We don't have the drop caps, but we do have a very nice kind of double line numeral there. that comes down. It does look very nice. It's a double column paragraph. There isn't any kind of poetic setting here in Genesis, and it does look like they have little footnotes and cross references down there in the bottom exterior corner. So we'll flip a couple pages in and see if that's the case. And it looks like what they're doing for consistency's sake is they're keeping it on the bottom right-hand corner of each page for these footnotes and cross references there. And we'll take a look at the overall kind of layout of it. Again, a double line paragraph layout. You have these very nice kind of stylized numerals here for the chapters. I like that. You have your page numbers up in the top center. You have your running headers in the top gutter. And then in the top outer corners, you have the book and chapter numbers. Very nice. It's a nice layout. I like the interesting numerals they chose for the chapter numbers. It's an interesting way of kind of calling it out just a little bit without going overboard. You know, just gives it a little bit of variety there. Let's go ahead and flip to Psalms. There you can see some of the poetic layout. We'll go to Psalm 119. And it does appear that there is a lot of single word lines. So it appears that they didn't make any kind of accommodations as far as poetic formatting other than just kind of a generic kind of tabbing over. There also is no Hebrew characters or transliterations in Psalm 119. There are like kind of line breaks here, but outside of that, it's absent anything else. Take a look at the paper. Paper's very nice. Just a little bit of show through. It doesn't appear, you can kind of see it here, it doesn't appear that there's line matching. It does appear that some of the lines are kind of uneven, but the paper is good enough to where that's not really an issue. Have the book of Jeremiah there. Have the end of Malachi. The New Testament title page. The New Testament books of the Bible, the table of contents, and then a little note about the abbreviations used for the different manuscripts. And then we have our abbreviations for the names. I'm not sure, this is kind of weird to kind of repeat this stuff if it was kind of in the beginning, but a list of abbreviations for the books of the Bible, and then also a key to pronunciation of the proper names. And the New Testament title page, and the Gospel according to Matthew. Go ahead and show you that. We'll flip a few pages in. I think it is black letter. So not really anything to look at on Matthew 5, 6, or 7. On the Sermon on the Mount. But we can look here where there's some more cross-references and footnotes and things. Let's go ahead and flip to the end. Again, there's not really any notes or anything specific to Duke. I think they probably, I wouldn't even know what they changed, to be honest. I haven't seen an RSV from Thomas Nelson. I don't believe, I'm saying that, but maybe I have seen one. Either way, right? I would imagine they're just reusing the text block, so there probably isn't anything specific for Duke other than that title page at the very beginning, and then just the kind of the cover design and that sort of thing, which is enough. I think it's a kind of a neat addition. I know these pop up on eBay from time to time, and they do fetch kind of a higher price. I don't know how crazy they get. I guess I have to check and see what they're going for now. But yeah, it is what it is, right? So if you don't get this one, you'll certainly be able to find other editions of this. And I'm not sure if they're all the second edition. I feel like I've seen some Duke editions that are the first edition of the RSV. So that might be something to pay attention to if you're interested in that. Here we have the end of Revelation, and there's just a blank page, and it gets right into the maps. Now these are the maps that have like a very kind of a very saturated color, and it actually makes them a little bit harder to read. Not to mention some of these are they're just cut off. You just don't get the full map. Like, yeah, look, it's just cut off all this information. So yeah, who knows what it's supposed to say? You're gonna have to whip out your other maps from another Bible to be able to finish the idea of what these maps are saying. I guess I don't know. But whenever you have kind of a heavy saturation here, it makes it really hard to see. That's why a lot of maps will kind of go with pastel colors and those sorts of things. It just makes it easier to see. And there we go. So that's the end of the maps. And we just have a thicker end sheet there, and that's it. All set. It's a very, very nice edition. I like seeing stuff like this. I like more so the fact that, at some point Duke was giving out graduation Bibles, maybe giving them out. Or again, it might have been something that was for sale in the bookstore. But either way, it's neat to see that religion played a part in the university setting. Probably much more back then than it does today. I would imagine. So we'll go ahead and get measurements. This comes in at 8 inches tall by just over 5.5 inches wide and about 1.25 inches thick. Let's go ahead and look at the text. We'll get a measurement here. We'll do the being blessed. And it looks like it's about a 9.5 point font versus Times New Roman for the uppercase. And then we'll do the M and them. And it also looks like a 9.5 point font versus Times New Roman. So about a 9.5 point font versus Times New Roman for the entirety of the Bible, which is a good size, right? Especially given the fact that this is kind of I guess a hand size or a mid size. I hate I hate giving out those sizes because I never seem to remember hand size, mid size, full size, pocket, compact. I don't know. There's so many. Yeah. Either way. Right, nice edition, very nice edition. I certainly am a fan of the navy blue. Right, not that I have a lot of navy blue Bibles. It's kind of rare. I think I only have like a couple of navy blue Bibles, but I think this is a nice execution of it. And certainly, if you're a fan of the RSV and you're looking for a navy blue colored Bible, this might be the way to go for you. Like I said, these are fairly readily available on eBay, so it might be something for you to look out for. Bible buddies, any questions, comments? You know what to do. Otherwise, Bible buddies, until next time, bye.